And welcome to Filmmaking Today. I'm your host, Dulabic. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about something that I'm doing right now. As some of you may or may not know, I'm shooting my second feature film, Project Eugenics. You can check it out, projecteugenics.com. I'm shooting it right now. We finished day number 3. I wanted to talk about my experiences with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera. This is a very quick overview of what I'm doing. Later on, I'm going to have an in-depth video about the gear that I use and all that stuff, but this is just sort of the immediate attachments that go on the camera. First of all, let's talk about SD cards. You cannot use every SD card out there. It's very finicky, and that's simply because in order to shoot in ProRes or camera raw especially, you have to have fast cards. I mean, this thing is creating huge files. Just huge, and these cards need to be able to reflect that. I've been using so far 3 cards. They're all 64 gig cards. The speeds are slightly different. The 80 megabits per second will not shoot camera raw. It's just you start shooting and about after 10 seconds it shuts down. It's not capable of sustaining that kind of a speed. That's why I got the 95 megabits. That one will shoot camera raw, no problem. Also, my opinion is you should not go below 64 gigs. Honestly, if money is not a big issue, I'd recommend go 128 gigs. With the 64 gigs, you are going to get about 32, 33 minutes shooting ProRes HQ, and that's fine. However, I actually, on my first day, I ran out of space. Now, we were able to work around that, but that's why I bought my third card, because I ran out of space. Because, you start shooting and, so right now I've got 3 cards and I'm able to shoot about 90 minutes with those 3 if I shoot in ProRes HQ. I also wouldn't go below 80 megabits. You're opening up yourself for a lot of issues, dropped frames, and just the camera not being able to keep up with it. So don't go below that. The next thing I want to talk about is the lenses that I use. So I have 2 lenses. One is my Panasonic 25 millimeter lens. They're both Lumix lenses. And this is the one I use for close-ups and some medium shots, depending on it. But definitely, this is my close-up lens, and it has been working really nicely. I have to say, though, to my surprise, again, on the first 3 days of my shoot, I have been using, actually, for the most part, my Pancake 14 millimeter lens. Again, Panasonic as well, Lumix. This is a 2.6 lens, f-stop 2.6, 14 millimeter. And when you're in a situation where it's run and gun kind of thing, and it's a low budget, you don't have a lot of crew member, you don't have a lot of time, I find this to be very helpful. I just find it very easy to use. Also, the size, I mean, this is nothing. You attach this thing, I mean, plus this is also plastic. A lot of it is plastic, so this is the lens, right? So I find that one very helpful. And like I said, I've used it so far, I'd say probably over 60% of the time, maybe more. So it's really cool. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, something that is a pain. We all know this, and battery life. Now, the Blackmagic, the battery that comes with it, we all know this, so hopefully you know this by now. It is horrible crap. Just, I have other words to describe it. It is a horrible battery. Let's just leave it at that. Now, in theory, you should get 40-50 minutes out of it, maybe a bit more depending on how you use it. Here's a problem, though. My God, I don't think I even got 30 minutes out of it. When you're setting up a shot and you leave the camera running for 5 minutes, I swear, it felt sometimes I got like 20 minutes out of it, So you should not rely on this thing unless you have like 20 of them and you don't mind just changing them every, 20 minutes or so. I recommend getting an external battery. Now, this is what I'm using. So far, anyway, it's this little thing. Now, this is it's a no-name brand that I got off of eBay, and I'll talk more about it. Some people have had issues with it, so keep that in mind. I haven't had any issues so far. It gives you It gives you three outputs. So you got 12 volt, which is the Blackmagic. You got 9 volts, and you have a USB output as well. And it works fine. I get about 5 hours with this one when it's fully charged. To charge it, it takes about 14 hours. So that's a bit of a pain in the ass, but it works fine. Once it's charged, you plug it in, and this has been my life savior. I mean, like I said, if I depended on that built-in battery, I would have killed myself a long time ago. This is a life savior. Get something like this. Make sure it will last you, I would say, for at least 4 hours. Because if you get 4 hours out of this one, then okay, you get the built-in one for 30-40 minutes, however long. But at least when this one runs out, you're not out of battery. The only drawback with this one is there's no indicator. You just don't know where you are. I mean, it's a big drawback actually in my case. I want to know where I am so I can plan accordingly. And so finally, let's get to the actual body of the Blackmagic. Now, the interesting thing that I have found so far on the first 3 days, I have actually, for the most part, I have just used this. Whether it was just simply holding the camera like this, or whether it's on my slider. I've only used my actual shoulder support and all that a couple of times or 3 times at the most. Again, because it's a very run and gun type of a situation, so I find it's just the easiest to do. And because of its size, you know what? A lot of people knocked the name pocket camera, including me, because I kept saying to it's not really a pocket camera, because once you add all these things, it's not really pocket. You know what, man? This camera by itself is perfectly capable of shooting a movie that looks professional by any means. You get this, you get whether it's this lens, the pancake one, or whether it's the 25mm or whatever you're using. It's fine. You can actually just work off of this, and it will give you great results. I have a lot of scenes in my movie where I was just holding this, especially if it's quick insert shots where it takes a long time to get that rig out and all that stuff. This way, boom, you hold it, you adjust it, boom, let's get this done, boom, okay, we're done, off, let's go. And it worked just fine. So, keep that in mind. You don't always have to get the fancy rig and all that stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, I still think you should have it, because the more, different setups you can do, the better your production will look, obviously, and I'm constantly going back and forth, but just having this thing and my slider, which I'm going to do a video later on as well, has allowed me to create some really, really interesting shots. And especially because this is a zombie horror film, so you want to get all kinds of creative angles just to create a creepy atmosphere, which I have been able to do really nicely with the help of this little guy. We're almost halfway through the shoot, so I'll try to update you guys as much as possible about the things that I'm discovering. If you want to stay up to date, also subscribe to all of our social media platforms. So just go on all the usual suspects and type in my name, Bojan Dulabic, or type in Project Eugenics if you want to find out more about this movie. Sign up for my newsletter if you haven't already. That's where you'll definitely get all the updates. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe, share it with your friends. And if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. I might not be able to get to you right away, but I'll definitely get back with an answer. Or if I don't have an answer, I'll try to find one as best as I can. All right, guys. Thanks.